I would like to welcome Program Coordinator for State Fair Engineering Design Technology Program. That was a mouthful. So, here we go.
All right, thank you everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here today with you. My name's Daniel, so I run the Engineering Design Technology program here at State Fair. That's basically a big word for CAD design, pre-engineering, pre-architecture, things like that. And what I'm here today to talk to you about is our virtual mapping project. And kind of to give you some background, I don't know how many of you went to school here. Anybody went to school here? A few of us. As a freshman, I'm from Warrensburg. I came here for my first 2 years of college and then transferred back to Warrensburg. As a freshman, prior to the start of my freshman year, I had only been on this campus once. And so I wasn't familiar with this building at all. And so that summer before, I actually came up a number of times just to walk the halls, familiarize myself with the buildings. And then once I actually had my schedule in hand, I actually walked my schedule so that I knew I had to start my day over here in the choir room. And then I had 10 minutes to sprint across campus to fielding to get to my computer class. That being said, nowadays, we've got students here on campus that are coming across the country to be able to come to school here. Maybe they're athletes, maybe they're coming for a specific program. And those students don't have that same opportunity to be able to walk these halls. Some of them can't even get here before the first day of class. And so what we did in 2019, pre-pandemic, Eric Fudge and I worked together to put in a grant request for this Matterport camera, with the goal being that we could start to image campus and post these maps on our website. And I'm going to open up the State Fair website here, with the goal that we could post these on the website. Hopefully that loads. So that when a student needs to visit campus, that's okay, I've got this pulled up here, we can pull up these models and they can virtually walk through campus rather than having to physically drive or fly across country. Then the pandemic happened and everything closed. And as you can see, this is a photorealistic view of the atrium that connects Heckert and Fielding. And this is a way where students can literally walk the halls without physically being on campus. And so we can come down here and we can see everything. Now, granted, this was taken in March of last year, so the halls were empty anyway. So it was a perfect situation for us to be able to move around the hallways. But one of my goals as an instructor, and this is the start of my third year here at State Fair as program coordinator, one of my goals was to be able to provide our students with a realistic view of what it's like to work in CAD design, engineering, and architecture. Because a lot of students will come in with the impression that they're going to be working a 9-to-5 job inside of an office in front of a desk all day, every day. That's what I left school under the impression with. I graduated from UCM with a degree in CAD design, and that was the impression that I had. When I left and got a job with Burns & McDonnell in Kansas City, that was my first year. But after that first year, it turned out that up to a third of my year was spent out on the road, visiting power plants, using equipment just like this to image areas that needed to be redone, to have equipment that needed to be replaced. This is more than a camera. This is actually a LiDAR. And so what it does is yes, it takes images, but it also can take measurements. Now this is Thompson. This is before Thompson was redone. But does anyone want to venture to guess how wide this room is from this wall over here over to this wall? Any guesses?
48 feet.
48 feet. Anyone else? Any guesses?
64.
64. One more?
120.
120. Let's find out. So I'm going to click on this ruler. So this is the nice thing about this software. The old school way of measuring things was to take a tape measure, string it across the room, and hope that your tape measure is long enough to reach. And it looks like we're closer to 79 feet there.
Oh, I win.
There we go. But the idea here is that architects, engineers, realtors, they don't have to take tape measures anymore. We can spend an hour inside of a room or inside of a building, produce a photorealistic model for you, and then be able to spit out videos and models and things like that. My goal as a teacher isn't that I'm doing this. I'm trying to provide opportunities for students to learn to use this equipment, because our students are going to be actively using this equipment out in industry. And so I want to expose them to that as early as I can. A lot of my students are on either a 1-year or 2-year track, and so they're going to be ready to go right to work as soon as they finish their degree. And I want them to be able to say, we have this skill set whenever they go out into the workforce. And so, as a last little bit, I'm going to take a quick picture of us. And so this camera connects through its own little Wi-Fi hotspot to an iPad app. And so I'm going to come in here. I started taking pictures earlier, and everyone wave and hold your pose. It's going to spin all the way around, hold your pose, and then you'll hear the beep when it's done. All right, and if you want to see the picture later, come find me. I'll show you on the iPad. But the whole idea here is I'm not necessarily looking for, this to be used. I'm looking for students to have an opportunity to get out and get involved in the community. That's my big goal here. Any questions? Yeah, let's start here.
What is the name of that unit again?
This is called a Matterport Pro camera.
Matterport?
Matterport, P-O-R-T. Yeah.
So to work with this type of technology, with the students, would they be working toward an engineering degree, or are there multiple?
So there are multiple tracks here. I do have students that are planning on transferring to like Rolla or KU, MU to get their engineering architecture degree. But the truth is, a lot of them, they're getting their 2-year degree because they just want to go right to work. And it's faster and cheaper to go right to work rather than going to Rolla and spending another 2 to 3 years there and then paying your licensing fees to get your engineering degree.
So going off of that,
Yep.
do you know if there are other 2-year, or I guess community colleges in general, they have other Matterports, or does this campus kind of set you apart from others?
This kind of sets us apart right now. There are other campuses that have similar things, but they're more handheld devices that aren't really as portable. You're kind of tethered to either a laptop or a computer. So they're not as portable as this. I think you had a question.
Yeah, how much does a typical system like that run?
So this was about $600. There are higher end ones, like the ones I used in industry run in the tens of thousands of dollars because they're higher end lasers that are much more precise. This can measure within a tolerance of 1/4 of an inch. The ones I used in industry can get to within, I think, like a 64th of an inch or something like that.
So does that work very well in outdoor settings, or is that an indoor one?
This is an indoor one. We do have another camera that does do outdoor.
And they speak pretty well with CAD.
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
Do you use AutoCAD in your instruction, and the students are?
Yeah, the students still learn all the software packages, AutoCAD, Inventor, Chief Architect, Revit, things like that. But we supplement it with this and make it clear to him, you're not just going to sit in front of a computer all day. You might be on at your desk Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you might be on your feet for 3 days straight. All right, let's go back here first.
So, during the panoramic view I saw on the video, you can actually get the ceiling and the floor during
Correct.
the panoramic view. Is
Yeah.
that just a 360, or does it take the top
So
and bottom
there are
at the same time?
actually, and this, I can bring this down here after we're done, but there are actually 3 cameras in here.
Okay.
And so this one shoots up, this one shoots down, and then this one straight on. And so it's actually, as long as it can see, basically I tell people, if you can see the camera, it can see you. So, I mean, it literally captured probably even this lighting grid up here too.
Have you ever used those for? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Have you ever used those for real estate?
That is the long-term goal. We are hoping to create some opportunities with local partners to get out and kind of image some facilities, whether it's houses, local event centers, things like that. Because I want to get students out and